Time for another Brennon Willard podcast from the studios of LEB TV, brought to you by Lakeside Auto Repair and by Schaefer's Oil. B-Dub back home from Illinois. Another eventful weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That'd be the nice way of putting it. It was not a good weekend, but land of the corn and racing in cornfields a couple nights. Just not the weekend we wanted, but that's all right. We didn't have anything majorly tore up, so that's good. Just bent sheet metal and hurt feelings like you normally have in little places like that. But
sometimes bringing the car home in one piece is a triumph, right?
Yeah, I mean it was just that was I'd never been to Macon before. Sycamore really races really well, and it's a good racetrack, it really is. And they had both places had great crowds both nights, and the races were good. Both races were outstanding, really. Just we just did not run well, and but we have the car unloaded, and we are headed to test tomorrow night. So we're going to figure out. We made a couple changes to this car, and over the break we put new rear end, put new everything in there, and there's something's not jiving. So we'll get that figured out. And our other car will have, we got our motor back from Vic. Randall brought it to the racetrack, so we'll have our other Vic Hill motor back. So I'm excited about that, and ready for this home stretch on the dirt side. But we get 1 week off and get to go have some fun on the pavement, which I'm looking forward to that this weekend.
Bar Series goes to what, first weekend in October?
So we go to kind of our schedule plan or whatever. We race I-44 Saturday the 16th, I think. 22nd, 23rd, we go to Mars is at Kankakee and Red Hill. Labor Day weekend, Mars is at Farmer City, Fairbury, and Spoon River. If you're a local dirt fan, make sure you go to Wheeling and Springfield, and two awesome races that are comp cams that I hate that we're missing, but that's what it is. September 6th is World 100 weekend. We are off that. We are not going to World. And then the weekend after that is a 3-day weekend at Davenport, Friday, Saturday, and Quincy on Sunday. Then we go to, I think that is Brownstown, Illinois, and Peoria after that. And then we go to the Mighty Midway for the Power I Nationals. There's a 2-day late model show at that. So that'll be nice. We'll be at home the last weekend of September. Then we go to Fairbury the first weekend of October. And then Lucas Oil Speedway the second weekend of October. See if we would decide to do any big pavement races after that. Hopefully I-44 has a fall brawl, something. If not, we'll look at, I don't know. I doubt I go to Nashville, but I guess it could look into that. And then the Turkey Bowl. And then we'll see what December brings. Probably just some announcements coming on December, coming up pretty quick on that.
Snowball time for you? Maybe?
Snowball Derby conflicts with the dirt race, so we'll leave it at that. I would love to go to the Snowball Derby. We're not ready to go to that. That is our plan for 26, but it has a conflict this year. So,
have you been to Snowball before?
I've ran the crate race, so the Snowflake. We never attempted the Snowball Derby. I've not been there since 2014, so it's been a hot minute. But I really want to go to that. So that is our pavement goal or plan. Our pavement plan is to go race I-44 a couple nights this year, kind of get back in the swing of things, and then see where we're at. There's a race in Florida at Freedom Factory, that Cletus's place, the Big League. I'd like to go to that, possibly. We'll see where we're at. It depends on how the Turkey Bowl goes and how everything's looking for our dirt stuff. And then Speedfest is an option in January. I do not think that conflicts with, I don't know if they've announced it yet, but hopefully that doesn't conflict with Arizona for the Wild West Shootout. And if that doesn't conflict, then we'll, go to that and then kind of see where we're at. I'm waiting on, obviously we'll wait on our asphalt plans for 26. It'll depend on our dirt plans. And, but there's a few races I'd like to go to the Rattler in Opp, Alabama in March of 26. That's a place I'd like to go to. And then see where we're at. We'll have to go to Pensacola once or twice, so that I'll have to work that in or find a date for there. I don't think you can go to Snowball Derby without racing there, so that'll be the plan. Will be to get a couple of those up, and then Greg McCarnes is a good friend of ours, and he still has a lot of involvement with the ARCA Midwest Tour. To me, that's the best asphalt series going. And Wisconsin and those guys up there, up north, race hard, but race with respect. And, we even talked about Oktoberfest. I was like, man, I want to go to Oktoberfest this year, but that's the same weekend as Fairbury. And I might have looked it up. I think it's a 4.5 to 5 hour drive from Fairbury to La Crosse. So it's not out of the question, but be tough. So anyway, so it's just kind of see what we can do and get a good baseline for our pavement stuff to get back in the swing of things, and then, keep going on the dirt side of things. And we had some pretty good momentum there at the end of May on the dirt side, and then just fell off a little bit, just had little things go wrong, but I feel like our cars are getting back to where they need to be, and we're getting back where we need to be on our program and get back on our feet. So, we got Tyler Morrison moved down from Michigan to go to work for us full time at the race shop, and then he's been a big addition, a big help. And Randall Chupp's helping us there too, and then Tony Jackson's guys are helping obviously when they can. So having a really good set of guys helping. Tyler's just been, the last 3 weeks have just been a lot smoother for me, just having a guy that's got a lot of experience in racing. And the problem with racing is you have to be fully committed and fully in, and it's an awesome job and career that you can have, but it is a lot. It takes a lot, and Tyler's single, so it's probably helps that out a little bit, being on the road. But so we got a really busy schedule coming up the next few weeks, and then after all that chaos is done, we'll settle down and settle in, and hit and miss there the end of October. Obviously, the Turkey Bowl in November is our number one priority in November, and then see what happens.
You did get to the A main on Friday at Sycamore through the B. Yep.
We were pretty good, really, in the B especially, and at that point, you just the top 5 are in, and my mentality in the B main was just survive and advance. And we got roughed up a little bit by one of the locals, and that's okay. That's what happens, and I get it. And but we made it, and then went to the A feature, and I have no earthly idea what, why, when, where this 55 car was going, but he completely ran out of talent and used me to turn, and that was fun, and it messed our toe up, and then knocked the nose into the left front tire where I couldn't have steering. So I lost steering when I got underneath him, and he got spun out. So karma. But evidently, I don't know, wouldn't turn. That's my story. Sticking to it. But I don't have any patience for that. I understand that you're in the back, and we shouldn't have been back there. And when you race back there, sometimes that happens. But, we're all out there racing in a pretty high level. And when you race with Jason Fager and Ryan Unzinger and Tony Jackson and those guys, they are not going to race you like that. When you race with people that, I don't know if they don't know what they're doing, or their girlfriend and wife are both up there. One's on one section of the bleachers, one's on the other, and they want to show out for both, and they just run out of talent or what, but you can't drive like that. So anyway, it tore our car up and ended our night early. And when we got it rebuilt, went to Macon, and that was an adventure, to say the least. We were actually in the feature rolling pretty good there, and passed 4 cars in one corner there and got out of 2 and would have put us in 9th, and the caution come out. I had to give all 4 spots back, and just kind of got buried there, and just there at the end, I smelled oil. Didn't realize after I pulled off, it was Billy Moyer Jr. Like, I kept smelling oil, and I looked, and I'm like, we are not going anywhere, and I am not taking a chance on hurting another motor. Pulled to the infield, and shouldn't have, because it was Billy Moyer Jr.'s car, and I'm like, he was leaking oil, so I'm like, well, perfect. So is what it is, but awesome finish to that race at Macon. The fans got to see what they wanted, and Unzinger, won by 6 inches. And that's just if you're wanting to go to the Dome, it's a really good idea to go race that racetrack and go race that race, and just to get ready for it, because that's how the Dome is going to be. And you got to be willing to put your car on the fence when you need to. And Ryan was smart. He was fast enough to just stay up front. And if you're up front, you can kind of determine the line you want to run. Well, if you're in traffic, you got to play defense, because you can't let somebody bonsai underneath you. And you also have to, when you do that, you don't get your turn radius you need, and you're, not making the lap times that you need. And everybody just gets jumbled up, and it's awesome for the fans to watch. And it's not that it's not fun. It's okay. It's just different kind of racing, and people love to watch it. That's for sure. But it is a different mentality for sure. But be glad to get on normal racetracks next week. Go to Kankakee, and then Red Hill looks like an awesome racetrack. Never been there, but it looks like a 3/8 and kind of like a Wheatland size racetrack. So it'll be nice to get to a decent sized racetrack again and get off of quarter miles.
So working on the asphalt car for the 16th at I-44, what's going to entail your work there?
Fix the broken panel bar mount. We fixed that, and then basically going through, tires are a big deal there. I do love or hate that tire rule. That tire rule is what keeps it economical and makes it where you can go race. Makes I-44 very attractive to go race, because 50 laps, 2,000 to win. That's a 2-tire race, so that's fair. I feel like to everybody, and a good thing. 1 tire for 30 laps is plenty. But 2 tires, everybody's going to have fresh right side tires. Everybody's going to be a pretty even playing field. So better get your car good for the long run. The biggest thing we need to figure out is, that was my first 30 laps under the lights. If it cools down, how much is it going to cool down, and how much is that racetrack going to change? How much is it going to tighten up? And what are we going to have to do for that? So, be a lot of guessing going on this week on that. And, bolt check, make sure that car's ready to go. But it's really close to being ready, and we're just, we'll go test it, Lucas tomorrow night, and get our dirt program ready to go, and then be ready to go Saturday at I-44.
Weather is kind of turning a little bit. I mean, it's still hot during the day, but the nights are cooling off, and that race starts at 7:00. So may have a little bit of difference between practice time and actual green flag time.
100%. And to my fault, we did a lot of our practicing in the middle of the day at 4:00. It's hot, greasy, which for what I'm coming off of is great. It's hot, slick. And then when it cooled off, we were just out to lunch and out to left field, just did not make the proper chassis adjustment and tune the car what we needed to tune for when it did cool off. So you'll have to watch the weather and see what's going on there. It's going to be hot during the day, and you're going to time in at 7:30. And if the sun's down, you're going to pick up speed. So be interesting to see that. That's what it's weird. Like, to me, asphalt racing, if you look, all the big asphalt races are during a day. Most of them are honestly on Sunday afternoons. And that's what the difference between asphalt and dirt is. And when people are like, well, if you go to an asphalt race, it's just not as much fun to watch. If you go to an asphalt race during the day, it is a completely different animal, and way, people are slipping, sliding all over the racetrack. There's a lot more passing. Obviously, it's got to be in the fall. You don't want to be racing and it's 90 degrees out. Nobody that's going to sit in the grandstands. But pretty interesting to see how much the track changes from day to night. And we talked about Pensacola and the places down south. that's an extremely big difference is what you'll have at qualifying there. And the tide moving in and out down there is insane. You know, what it'll do there in New Smyrna. We don't have to deal with that, thankfully, but it's insane what temperature changes will do.
So I-44, they've got the Baby Grand Show Me Nationals also coming up on the 16th, that Saturday. Lucas has the UTV off-road short course racing this Friday and Saturday, then circle track on Saturday. Springfield, one of your competitors, Scotty Krigler, he won the four-state dirt late model A-Main.
Yeah, that was good
Saturday
for him. That was the Revival Series A-Main. That was awesome that see him get that win. So that was actually he got that car off of us. So he's got 2 wins, I think, in that car. So that was good. And it's a good race car, and happy to see Scott running well. Good guy. And wish we hadn't sold him that car because he's a lot faster now, right? But good for him. And the Revival Series, I think they had 34 cars. Is that right? Saturday night at Springfield. So that was good. And they had a really good car count Friday night at Monette. So that series is doing a lot of good things. And, super late model racing on a little bit harder tire for the open motors. And they got it where a spec motor can compete. And I think it's a great thing that they've got going there. So hopefully next year we'll be able to hit a couple more of them up, and the schedule will allow that. But that's the series we're going to try to race at Midway at the end of September.
Midway, they've got the Bill Ragland Memorial coming up on September 6th. Lake Ozark back in action on Saturday, the 30th of August. So getting through the 8th month of the year, heading for number 9. You got Labor Day action coming up a lot of places. So it's kind of preparing for the home stretch, isn't it?
It is, and it's cool. Like I-44 is racing this weekend, and they're having that big back to school bash and all that stuff. And it really, shout out to Aaron, he's making that work. He's getting a good crowd and getting a lot of people to come to the races where a lot of other tracks don't want to race right now because everybody's wanting to get their kids back to school. And so it's cool to see, Aaron really doing well there. Of course, the Topless 100s this weekend for the dirt guys too in Batesville, Arkansas, which is a crown jewel event, $75,000 to win. So that's a big one coming up. And then next weekend's at Arrowhead too. The World of Outlaws are at Arrowhead Speedway in Oklahoma, a couple, 2.5, 3 hours from here. So we have looked at possibly going there on that Thursday and then driving to Kankakee, but I gotta look and see how far that is. Maybe a lot of driving. So, or no, maybe it would be a lot. So we'll just see what our schedule's looking like and see if we can make it down there for one of those 2 nights.
NASCAR, they go Saturday at Richmond after Watkins Glen. They're going to have to Shane Van Gisbergen the road courses, aren't they?
Yeah,
the dude is unbeatable.
He is very talented. There's only one guy that can beat him, and which is Connor Zilich, who beat him Saturday, and then Connor fell off the car.
Connor needs to kind of consult with Carl Edwards on how to get off the car.
And a couple high-level teams have now told their drivers not to get up on top of the car. It was just a scary incident. Really, you never even think about that. But very bad luck. But Zilich is very talented and has won 5 out of the last 6 Xfinity races. So, and he beat SVG heads up in the same equipment on 2 of those on road courses. So kind of got to look at him saying, hey, maybe he can come in here next year and compete with him. But I got to ask your opinion on that. I think NASCAR's got way too many road course races right now, though, for my liking. I don't know. What's your opinion on that? But, I'm just not
I kind of enjoy him.
Do you?
Myself, yeah.
I liked him for 3 or 4 years ago on the old car, because it was exciting. They could do much. This is weird. This is a road racing car, but the racing, I don't know. Maybe it would be fine if it was just a softer tire or more horsepower. I don't know that, and I did hear on the way here that they are looking at more horsepower on the short tracks and road courses. And I think that's what has to happen. I mean, we have more horsepower in our cars the late miles at I-44 on Saturday night have more horsepower than the Cup cars on Sunday. And weigh 1,000 pounds less. It doesn't, or 3,400, sorry, I'm thinking of the dirt cars, but late miles are 2,750 to 2,800 pounds with 600 horsepower. A Cup car's 3,400 pounds and 550. Well, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why the Busch cars got 650, 700 horsepower and the Cup cars got less. And I understand it's a OEM deal, but I think they need to put horsepower back in the race cars because a dirt late model is putting out 900 horsepower and, ish. And it produces really good racing because you got to have throttle control. Because what happens when it gets slick, you burn the tires off. And I think if they could get to these short tracks and give them 750 horsepower to short track, make them burn the tires, and then the road courses, they'd be great again. They really would because, SVG'd probably win then too. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but make them conserve tires where they're burning the tires at the race car and actually having to drive where instead of just driving a sports car that's made to run 24-hour races and you just drive the living crap out of it and don't have to worry about your brakes giving up or your tires giving up. I mean, that's just makes you can't take an endurance racing car and go put it on a 2-hour race. It doesn't work, and that's, I don't know how it's so hard for them to figure that out, but I guess it is what it is.
I like the road courses. I don't like the street courses.
No, I agree with you there. Like, Watkins Glen's a good racetrack. Sonoma's a good racetrack, but we don't need to be going to and I understand the logic. So they're going to San Diego next year. Yeah. And it is good. You're getting people that have never seen a race before. They're going to come out to the race, but are they going to come back? Are they going to go to their local short track? I don't even know if there is a short track around San Diego. Not being funny, like, who knows? Bring your trucks to I-44 Speedway and watch how many people show up to that and watch how many of those people watch the races every week. You know what I mean? Like, that's your hardcore fans. So hopefully they get back to that. I know it's driven by TV money and TV's driving all of this. And that's the dirty little secret that every professional sport's in. NASCAR's no different. So TV's going to want something entertaining. And they got to do something to make these cars, in my opinion, race better. So I'm 100% on Mark Martin's side on all this. He's preaching to the choir.
Yeah, everybody questions, where are all the fans? The stands look empty. Well, that's offset by the TV and the streaming money.
It is, and it's no different than the St. Louis Cardinals, right? Nobody goes. The Cardinals' attendance is down. The Chiefs' attendance was down for a long time. Attendance, they're making the stadiums hold less people. And they're doing for an actual, if you go to the event, it's for an experience. The other thing you don't see is the suites are full and sold out at every NASCAR race. And there's thousands of people in these, a lot of these suites hold 200 people each. And there's thousands of people in these suites that you can't see. So it makes it look bad for TV and the optics look bad for TV. So I don't know. They're going to have to figure all this out. And people way smarter than you and I got to, surely to goodness, can figure it out. But you got to look at it, But the other thing for TV and you and I, Kansas is the best race of the year, and that race used to sell out, and the attendance is not very good. I think it's oversaturated, and I think NASCAR's lost the redneck dirt racing fans that would go to Kansas Speedway. So they got to figure that balance out, and I'm sure they will, and they're smarter than we are. But it's been interesting to see it. So hopefully, no more dang street courses. Let's get away from that and go racing.
All right, good show. Have fun this Saturday.
It'll be a lot of fun, and I want to give a shout out to Schaefer's Oil too. They've been a big help for us, and this Citrol has really kept our dirt car very clean and kept the rubber off the car Saturday night. So if you need some stuff to help you, go buy our friends at Empire Energy and spray the front of your race car off and keep dirt or rubber off of it, and it works really well. So they've been a huge supporter of us, and when we switched to decide to go with pavement racing, obviously it's a way different kind of oil and different things, and they jumped on board and happy to help. So we appreciate all their help.
Also, thanks to Lakeside Auto Repair, helping make this show possible. We'll talk to you again soon from the studios of LEB TV.